Hey guys and girls, it's Ken and Gina here from OKportugal, and it's a start of a new week. It's the 31st of May 2021. It's absolutely boiling. It's 32 degrees today and has been for the last 3 days. But the hot weather is coming to a little bit of an end. There's going to be a thunderstorm and it sort of cools off a little bit next week. But for the time being, it's boiling hot. We've got 2 hot dogs behind us here, and we're going to go and take them down to the dam for a little swim. Mimo, Masak, do you want to go swimming? Do you want to go swimming? Let's go swimming. Wait, come on. Masak. Come on. We have arrived.
We've got some excited doggies.
Yeah. You want to go swimming? You want to go swimming? DogDog is very much a water dog. He's got golden retriever in him. He's part golden retriever and part white German shepherd. So he absolutely loves water, whereas Mimosa is not a water dog. I'm quite surprised to see her even being this far inside the water, because she's generally quite terrified of it. But yeah, DogDog loves swimming. It's his favorite. So this lake is the Marateca, or at least it's called the Barragem de Santa Gueda, and it's just at the bottom of our road. And this is one of the arms leading to it. The water right now is quite warm. I would say it's probably about 24 degrees, because our pool is 23 and this feels a little bit warmer. But yeah, it's absolutely perfect. Summer starts in 3 weeks. And it's already nice and hot for swimming. You having fun there, Mimi? Jeez. Well, this is the most that Mimo has ever gotten into water before. So it's good. It's nice and warm though, so I think that's what's making it easier for her. The dogs have cooled off, and now it's time for us to cool off. And this is how you get your car to absolutely stink of wet dog. You basically get dogs, get them wet, and then put them in the back of the car before they dry. But yeah, we're going to go and drop the dogs off in the farm, because Gina and I want to go and do something that is not dog friendly. But it's time for us to go and cool off now. The dogs are going to stay on the farm, they're going to stay in the shade, and yeah, hopefully they're going to have a good day too.
Home sweet home!
10 points if you can guess what we're going to go and do next. Just got to deflate this, get it in the car, and then we'll be on our way. Job done. It's getting hot. It's like 32 degrees today. The hottest temperature ever recorded in Castelo Branco was just over 40 degrees, and that's like the official record. But when you're outside and there's no shade, it can feel a hell of a lot hotter than that. So yeah, it gets very, very hot here, but not quite as hot as it did in South Africa, well, Cape Town, where I'm from, where it used to quite often hit 40 degrees, especially in the summertime. And I can remember when I was a kid, they used to let us out of school as soon as it hit 40 degrees, which was pretty cool. Right on our doorstep, we have this amazing dam, the one that we just took the dogs to, and it's 650 hectares of pristine water. It's actually the drinking water supply for Castelo Branco. So we're going to go and take the kayak down there, but instead of going to where we took the dogs, we're going to go right to the other side because there's a big parking lot. We can park the car there, we can blow up the kayak, and it's really pretty. Oh. We've made it, and now we're at this lovely spot, and let me show you. Beautiful trees, lovely little beach, and let's see, we brought some stuff with us. What do we have? Oops. Ta-da! Thirsty work. Right, let's go in. We're doing 1, 2, 3.
I didn't put my head under.
You didn't? Ah. So it's an absolutely beautiful spot here. It's got lots of eucalyptus though. Although it's lovely being in the shade of the stuff, it's a real fire risk. You know, this eucalyptus is all over the place, and Portugal has one of the highest, or one of the largest plantations in Europe. I believe there's something like 80,000 square acres of the stuff. And it's mainly due to the paper industry. Now, the problem with eucalyptus is it stops, you know, it's an invasive species, and it stops other sort of endemic species from thriving, and from, you know, it just takes over. And I'm not sure if you can hear, but in the background is one of these fire planes. Now we're about to come into the fire season, and every single day there is loads of fires, and it's mainly down to eucalyptus. You know, this stuff's got lots of oils. These trees actually explode in fires, and yeah, so it's a little bit of a tragedy, but they are gorgeous. They do have a nice smell on the leaves, and it's quite nice being in the shade of them. Right, well that was fun. I know we were supposed to cool down, but actually I'm actually feeling quite hot.
Yeah.
So we might have to go home and have a swim. Job done. So we're back on the farm. I've got myself another beer. This is quite an interesting one. It's a Irish dry stout from Bohemia. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of marmitey. Anyway, I'm going to go and hop in the pool. Oh, what is this little guy? Wow, how cool is that? Some kind of like little grasshopper. Very cute. Oh, so the pool is 24 degrees today. Yeah, 24 degrees. Amazing. I absolutely love this pool. It's turned out so good. You know, it was an agricultural water tank, and it's not actually supposed to be a pool, but all we've done is we've painted it blue with special pool paint, and I've put a koi pond filter inside. So this koi pond filter is basically keeping water circulation going and straining out big particles. And apart from that, we use like a sieve, like a pool net, and we just clean the top with that. And we also have some kind of an attachment that runs along the bottom and has a little bag. You attach a hose to it and it just sucks up all of the mess. You know, so if anything does fall in here, there's ways that we can keep it clean. Now, we are adding chlorine, and we add a very, very low dose of chlorine to the pool. I am testing the pool, and pretty much every night I put a couple of granules in, and that basically lasts about 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours. Now, chlorine isn't as bad as you might think it is. It's obviously a very toxic thing that's going to kill all bacteria and sterilize any water or soil. You know, if you have chlorinated water, you definitely don't want to be watering your plants with that, because it will actually kill all the organisms in the soil. But the thing about chlorine is that it has a very short lifespan. So if you put chlorine into a glass of water, you know, enough for a swimming pool, and you leave that glass of water outside in the sunlight, within about 12 hours it completely breaks down, and the chlorine is no longer present in that water. It oxidizes, it evaporates, and gasses out. So, you know, when you have a larger body of water, it does take longer. It can take anywhere between sort of 12 hours all the way up to 7 days. You know, so we are going to be putting chlorine in this pool, but a very small amount. You can hardly smell it. It's keeping the water clean and clear. You know, so there's no algae growing inside, there's no bacteria in here that's you know, taking over. And when it does come time to actually use this water for like irrigation purposes, what we'll do is wait about 5 to 7 days, make sure that there's absolutely no trace of chlorine left. We've got the chlorine test kits, and then we can use that to water whatever we need, and the water will be nice and clean and clear. So yeah, hopefully it all still works. You know, we've kept the water in here going for about 2 weeks now. It's still in beautiful condition. We haven't added any more. We haven't had any problems, and so far so good. The lifestyle is definitely one of the biggest things that's changed for me here. You know, when we were in England, we were 9 to 5, wake up early, get to work the whole day, come home, eat food, maybe watch a little bit of TV, go to bed, and then do exactly the same thing again. And by the time that the weekend came, we were just completely knackered and disillusioned. And then maybe every once in a while you get yourself a little holiday and you go somewhere really nice, and that's even more depressing, because you realize just how much of your life you're wasting sitting at a desk or behind a PC or something like that. So yeah, I think like the biggest change for us here has been that it's so much cheaper to live here in central Portugal. You know, other parts of Portugal might be more expensive. You know, cities and things like that, property is very expensive. Things cost more, restaurants cost more. But here in central Portugal, you know, the lifestyle is a lot cheaper. And if you don't have debts and you don't have a mortgage, and you live a much simpler life, a much more sustainable life, then you don't need much money. And if you don't need much money, you don't have to do much work. And then you can start to do things that you actually enjoy doing, you know, to make money, as opposed to having to work so that you can pay for all of the fancy stuff that you have, and the fancy car and the fancy house and the fancy clothes and all the stuff that you like buy just to impress other people so that they think that you're doing well. Now you can kind of live for yourself. So yeah, the lifestyle is definitely one of the things that's changed the most, and it's a good life out here. Now normally I like using wood on a braai, but unfortunately I don't have any good quality wood left. and with a steak you want something that gets incredibly hot and gives you some serious coals. So this is like the next best thing is to use some charcoal, but this isn't my first choice. I don't really like charcoal braaiing, but you've got to use what you have. And in South Africa we say a boer maak 'n plan, which means a farmer makes a plan. I got one of these things. This is basically it's like a fire starter chimney. So you pack it full of charcoal, put a fire lighter in the bottom, and it basically gets your coals nice and red hot quite quickly. That is not good charcoal. Tiny little pieces. You know, I was expecting like bigger pieces, but it's just a whole bunch of dust. We'll make do. The only problem is it's just put a whole bunch of stuff all over the fire lighter, so I'm going to have to relight that. Let's just pretend that that didn't happen. Fire is coming along pretty well. I don't really think it's the best charcoal, but you know, you've got to use what you have. And this here is the steak, and the butter is over here. I've stuck it underneath this Weber because I want the butter to melt. And this is what they call a picanha steak here in Portugal. They don't have like sirloin and rump and ribeye and all of that stuff. They have all of their different cuts. Now usually this is a very thin cut, but I don't like the thin steaks because you can't really cook them properly. Like they cook too fast and get really well done. So I asked him to cut this a little bit thicker, and yeah, it's quite a big steak. Anyway, what I've done is I put some salt, some pepper and some garlic granules, and that with the butter is going to make that taste absolutely ridiculous. Just watching our chickens over here running around just loving life. They're eating every single little bug from all over here. And when we first moved into this house, there was a whole bunch of dead scorpions and centipedes and all sorts of stuff like shriveled up and dried out inside the house. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, like imagine getting out of bed and putting your foot in the ground into your slippers and there's like a scorpion in there or something. And well, we haven't seen any, you know. These chickens are eating absolutely everything. Look at this, just behind me here. They're just stalking around here, eating every single bug. And they go right around the farm, right around the house. So we don't have any problems. Wait, get away. It's my steak. Wait, get away. So all of the animals are now congregating around the smell of the steak. We've even got the chickens hunting it. Right, let's get these coals in here. It's time to braai. Well, as they say in South Africa, no gaan ons braai. Yeah, so these look pretty decent. There's quite a lot of heat coming off. In fact, there's a lot of heat. I think this charcoal is a lot better than I expected. So we have this thing over here, which is basically like a scrubbing brush. And we're going to scrub the grid. It's nice and hot now. It's been sterilized. We just want to get all of the old stuff that might be on there off. And that'll do it. Nice and hot. Time to cook steak. Now that is one big picanha steak. Picanha steak is supposed to be like almost like a very, very thin slice that cooks really quickly. Obviously I've got them to cut this a lot thicker. So we'll see, it could be interesting. And job done. We have a steak. Gina has no steak. She's not really a red meat eater. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Cheers.